virtually every successful strategy I've been involved with has been preceded by an uplift in our understanding of human behavior.
What was that first successful
That was
launch
Coke
you found?
Zero.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
What's the story?
Well, it was a failure in the US. They launched in the US, and it was a complete failure. And what was interesting was we actually did some really, really innovative research with a company here in Sydney called Pollinate.
Okay.
And if you think about marketing research, it's usually, you're sitting behind a two-way mirror.
Sure.
There's a board table in the room. There's some cheap pizza on the table. And there's people who will give up a night for $50. I mean, as if you want their opinion, right?
Wow.
But it was a really problematic methodology because they knew we were watching, and one of the problems is when people in a group, they lie because they don't want to look bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I only go to McDonald's for the salads. Yeah, sure you do.
Sure, of course.
Right?
Yeah, right.
But so Pollinate had this really interesting methodology where we actually got to sit in the group and have a conversation with the participants.
Yeah.
And they structured a whole bunch of exercises. I mean, this is must be almost 20 years ago now. Yeah. And it was really innovative at the time. And what it gave us was a deeper, richer insight into what was driving customer behavior, particularly in that market. So our demographic was men in their early 20s.
Yeah.
So for the first time in their lives, they're free from the constraints of childhood, but all of a sudden, they can't eat what they want and keep the weight down.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, they start picking up adult constraints.
Yeah.
And that was a really interesting insight. So, we created this strategy around zero limits. Wouldn't it be great if everything had zero limits?
Yeah.
And what we realized was that was a really key emotional and cultural concern for that particular marketplace. So that was a huge uptick, but again, it's not just that that launch that was successful. It's always So Kieran and I do a lot of work with entrepreneurs and smaller businesses. Yep. People who can't afford to work with us, we do group work with them. And the great thing about it is if I run a workshop for a corporate, they're usually really grateful. Sometimes they're like, Dan, this is an hour off work for me. Don't make me do anything interactive. Right. But when you get business owners and entrepreneurs in the room, they've got skin in the game.
Yeah, of course.
It pays their bills. And what's great is you tell them to do something, they execute the next day. Yeah, by the end of the week, they've shared their results with you.
Of course.
In a way you don't get from corporates.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best pieces of feedback we get is, hey, I did that one thing you recommended. Mm-hmm. My business was transformed. I've been able to send my kids to a better school, move to a better neighborhood. It saved my marriage, etc. You go, wow, that's really, really impactful. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that excites me. But oftentimes, I had this one person from the course come up to me, and he said, this was years later, and he said, "Oh, Dan, you may not remember me. I'm the guy that had the blah 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 business." And I said, "Oh, tell me how business is, but first tell me who your customer is." And he started talking about his customer. And unlike most marketers who run out of generic quotes within 5 minutes, he talked for 20 minutes about who his customer was. I said, "You don't need to tell me how your business is going. I know how it's going." Well. Yeah. And I think that's. I remember I was in a with a I won't mention the brand, massive global brand in Sydney. They were targeting young men in the western suburbs. And we're in Sydney. We're in North Sydney at the time, I think, or it might have been slightly in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. It was a big tower block. And they said, "Well, Dan, you're from the western suburbs. What do your people think?" I said, "Get on a train. It's $5. Yeah. Talk to the people." Yeah. I mean, if that's your view of understanding what's going on for your customers, and I'm always, when Kieran and I work with businesses, we're always getting as much feedback as we can. Sure. What's good? Because the thing is, I can guess at what's keeping them awake at night, but I don't know. But if I do a survey and I go, "Oh, this is the thing that's keeping them awake in 2021," and I get up and give a speech or on a Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram post about that concern, all of a sudden people go, "Oh, he gets us."
Yes. Yes.
we'll go to him for the
Yeah,
response.
Absolutely. Well, knowing your customers is absolutely key in marketing. Yeah.
Absolutely.